I've had my American Express Platinum card for over 3 years now, and till this day has given me so much value. But just a few months ago, I received my Venture X card, which just may be the competition this space needs. Yes, the Venture X may not be as feature rich compared to the Platinum card, but of the features it does have, it really packs a punch. So in this video, we'll be breaking down all the details of both cards, comparing every single element of the two, and then giving my take on when you should go for which card, or if they're just a waste of money. So right off the bat, the American Express Platinum card has one of the highest annual fees of any card in the industry at $695 a year, but does come with a suite of amazing benefits that at least try to make up for that cost and more. Amex values these perks at over $1,500 in value, but realistically, even if you just take half of that at say $750, that's still more than the annual fee. Not only that, but the Platinum card has a baseline sign-up bonus of 100,000 points. But actually, if you look around, there are a lot of public offers that are offering 125,000 points when you sign up and hit the minimum spend of $6,000 in the first 6 months. And if you instead go through Resy, a restaurant booking portal under American Express, you'll get an additional 10 times points at restaurants worldwide, up to $25,000 in purchases in the first 6 months. As is usual with American Express, these limits are sky high, and you would need to spend over $4,000 a month on restaurants to maximize this benefit. But hey, if you do, that's an additional 250,000 points, which would definitely make this card worth it to get. Now, for all the other spend on your card, you'll get 5 times points when you book flights through the airline directly or through their portal, with again an insane upper limit of $500,000 a year, 5 times points on hotels booked through the portal, and 1 times back on everything else. Purely based on these baseline point categories, it is definitely not an everyday spend card. In fact, most people probably keep it in a drawer and only use this when they're using the credits it comes with or using it to book for travel. Personally, it's almost never in my wallet because I only use it when I'm booking travel, or I'm using the credits, or I'm using it because I want to visit Centurion lounges when I visit airports, which is one of the many amazing perks of the card. But let's pause there on the American Express and switch over to talk about the newer Capital One Venture X card. Unfortunately, just this week, the high offer just went away, which included 100,000 sign-up points when you spend $10,000 in the first 6 months, and a one-time $200 vacation rental credit that could be used on places like Airbnb. But now the current offer, which we can probably assume is the baseline, is getting 75,000 points when you sign up and hit the minimum spend of just $4,000 in the first 3 months. So a much lower total spend, but fewer points from it. Then when it comes to spending, you'll get 10 times points or miles on hotels and car rentals booked through their portal, 5 times miles on flights again through the portal, and 2 times points back on everything else. In general, I'd say this edges out the Platinum card in terms of categories of spending. First, you get 10 times back on hotel and car rentals compared to 5 times on American Express, but the American Express does let you book directly with airlines, which could be more convenient than going through a third-party portal. But the major thing is getting 2 times points on the everything else category compared to the Platinum's 1 times. That alone could make the Venture X an amazing standalone card too, which is rarely seen at this tier of cards nowadays. But of course, if the Capital One points are worth much less than the American Express MR points, then that wouldn't mean anything, right? So let's take a look. On the Venture X side, you'll likely be redeeming your points for 1 cent a point of value for travel, which is a really good baseline to base the value of points on because the category of travel is so broad, which includes things like airline tickets, hotels, buses, taxis, and more. But in order to really maximize the value of your Capital One miles, then you would want to transfer out to one of the travel partners and then redeem that way to get much higher redemption value. For example, transfer your points over to Turkish Airlines and fly on their partner United from mainland US to Hawaii for just 20,000 points in economy or 30,000 points in business class round trip, or half of that for one way. That means the sign-up bonus of 75,000 points is enough for 2 business class round trip tickets and more. Or transfer to Air Canada and fly over to Europe with a stopover for the entire 75,000 points in business class one way. When redeeming for these type of redemptions, you'll pretty easily be able to get around 2 cents of value per point or more. The main thing you don't want to do with these points is to redeem for straight statement credit or cashback, which you'll get at a 0.5 cent per point rate. Though if you were looking for a cashback card, there are so many better options out there, and I go over some in a video I'll link above. And this is also really similar with the American Express side too, where if you redeem for statement credit or cashback, you're getting a measly 0.6 cents a point, and booking through flights through the portal is where you get 1 cent a point. So it is a bit harder to use because it doesn't have that broad travel category like the Venture X. But again, to maximize the value of these points, you'll want to transfer out to one of their travel partners and redeem that way. The two programs have pretty similar number of travel partners, so it really depends on where you want to fly. For me, my primary destination is Asia, and American Express has a sweet spot redemption of 90,000 points to fly a round-trip business class on ANA booked through Virgin going over to Japan. But I'll link some resources down below for some examples on the type of redemptions you can do for both of these point programs. Now, other than racking up a bunch of points and flying around the world, let's also take a look at some of the credits that these cards offer. On the American Express side, you get a whole host of credits where I go in depth on in my review that I'll link above. But to rapid fire through these, you'll get $200 credit when booking hotels through the portal, $240 in digital entertainment credit across a limited selection of services, credit for monthly Walmart Plus, $200 in Uber Cash that works for rides and eats, $200 for airline fee credit, $300 for Equinox, $100 for Saks Fifth Avenue, and $179 for Clear membership. All in all, it's like a whole coupon book of perks, and for most people, you'll be lucky to even use half of them. I mean, most places don't even have an Equinox, but even if you use some of them, say $200 for the hotel credit, $200 for the Uber Cash, $200 in airline incidental, and the $100 for Saks Fifth Avenue, that's already $700 in value, which is more than the annual fee. Now, in comparison to the Venture X card, you'll be getting an anniversary credit of 10,000 points starting your second year and onwards, and $300 travel credit through the Capital One portal, which is more useful than it seems. Yes, there are only 2 main credits on the Venture X, but they're a lot easier to use. And taking these perks at face value, that's $400 every single year, which effectively means they're paying you $5 a year just to keep the card. Now, what about all the other perks of the card? There are a ton of benefits between the two cards and a lot of overlap. You can check out my dedicated reviews of either card that I'll link down below, but I'll call out some of the key differences I think are important here. First, the lounges. Yes, both cards give you priority pass access, which is to over 1,300 lounges in more than 600 cities around the world. However, the version that the Platinum card comes with does not include restaurants, whereas the one from the Venture X does, so there is that key distinction. That said, the Platinum card comes with access to the Centurion lounges, which are amazing 40 plus different lounges around the world, 14 of them being in the US. And I can tell you, having been to a few of these, the quality and the experience is much better than the basic priority pass lounges. But that's not to say that the Capital One network is bad. They're also starting to build out their own network of lounges, starting with Dallas and then Washington and Denver. Right now, the network is tiny in comparison, but if they continue to grow, it could be more and more competition for the Platinum card. Next, statuses. The Venture X does come with Hertz President Circle, but the Platinum card comes with much more, from getting Marriott and Hilton Gold to various car rental statuses. Throughout the years, these statuses have come in pretty handy to get things like small upgrades when traveling in the US, bigger upgrades when traveling internationally, or being able to go through status matching and get even more statuses at different programs, which is what I was able to leverage to save almost $900 on my 5-day trip to Vegas, where I break it all down up in the corner. But speaking of car rentals, both cards do have car rental insurance, but the one on the Platinum card is secondary, whereas the one on the Venture X is primary, meaning that could be a $20 to $30 difference in savings per day having the primary insurance versus the secondary. Then when it comes to shopping, I do find that the Amex portal gives much better offers that can save you hundreds of dollars in credits versus the options on Capital One that are more everyday kind of categories with lower cashback. There's also a lot higher frequency of Amazon offers for the American Express ecosystem, where you can redeem 1 point to get 30, 40, sometimes 50% off on your purchases. Next, although the American Express travel site is pretty nice to use and includes programs like FHR that will give you hundreds of dollars of credits at certain hotels, the Capital One redesigned site is pretty nice too, giving you features like price drop protection and price match within the first 24 hours. Speaking of protection, the Venture X card does have cell phone protection, something that the Platinum card does not. And then of course, when it comes to customer service, I think Capital One probably needs to step it up because it's basically consensus that American Express customer service is top notch. From getting easy live chat support to giving credits of hundreds of dollars, from wireless credit to Best Buy, Home Depot, and Dell credits, to 50,000 point retention offers, to offering free dining through the Resi platform. It's gonna be hard to beat. With all that said though, which card is right for you? Well, to boil it all down, if you're a big traveler, a high spender, or don't mind playing the game to get maximum value either through research or getting more cards, then go with the American Express Platinum card because the ceiling is much higher for the value you get. Not to mention the almost double in sign-up bonus and the 10 times points on restaurant spend in the first 6 months. On the other hand though, if you're a beginner in this space, or want more of a middle ground card that will give you decent value for less work and have less complexity, then go with the Venture X card. It's a pretty good standalone card too, given the 2 times points back on the everything else category and being able to redeem at the minimum of 1 set of point for travel. And with the Venture X, you're basically effectively being paid $5 to keep the card every year, given that you travel sometimes and are able to use the credit. And that could be the same for the Platinum card too, if you're able to leverage the credits enough or get retention offers. And well, that's the situation for me, which is why I still have both my cards. And in any space, competition is great for us consumers. And it'll be interesting to see if Venture X is cutting into the American Express user base at all, and if there are any changes that will come in the future. That said, I hope this video helps. Let me know down in the comments which card you prefer, and I'll see you in the next one.